Findlay Curtis, obviously, who's just fresh back from the World Cup with Scotland. He scored our goal in our closed doors game on Sunday. Was it Sunday or Monday?
Sunday night, yeah.
Sunday night. It was quite a spectacular goal. I've seen a clip of it, although possibly a wee bit of luck involved. I think
spectacular is one word.
Yeah.
Unfortunate is probably another one.
But he's obviously a guy that went out on loan to Kilmarnock and performed really well. He gets a Scotland call up. Now, my opinion was I didn't really shed any tears when Findlay Curtis went out, because I'm still not convinced against packed defences, against teams defending for their life. It's very different. We don't want to be disrespectful. It's completely different being a winger playing for Rangers as being a winger playing for Kilmarnock. You probably get a lot more space with Kilmarnock. But there's one thing that's undeniable about Findlay Curtis. He seems to know where the net is, and he seems to make a difference. He can fit in and out of games, but when he does get involved, it tends to be something good. It tends to be something that makes a difference. Can we expect to see him in the starting 11 more often than not next season?
I'm not entirely sure about the starting 11. I still think he's a wee bit in the raw side for that. I agree with you. I mean, I think even just what you're saying there, you're labelling him a winger. I think that's a misnomer in a sense. I don't think he's a wide player. He's not a guy that really wants to get the byline and get crosses in. I think he's more like a wide forward who wants to get cut inside and get shots away. That's how I see him. That's how I see his future. I mean, to be honest, I think as he gets older, as he maybe fills out a bit more, if he gets a bit more experience, you'll see him becoming out and out centre forward. I just think right now he's sort of shunted out to the side because that's what you do with young players. And I think I don't see he's not a guy with a trick that's going to dribble past 3 or 4 players. He's not your traditional sort of a David Beckham-esque guy who's all about crossing, or a James Tavernier is going to provide a wicked delivery into the box. He's a goal scorer for me, but who just happens to operate in the sort of wider channels. So, yeah, I think he's got a part to play. I certainly think he's got a bigger part to play than he did at this stage of the season last season. And most arguable that was when he was at his most effective in the first few weeks. Obviously, gets that goal against Panathinaikos in the first game of the season, the Champions League qualifier. But I mean, I do think what I love about him is his attitude. I mean, he's done an RTV video today with the club in-house channel, speaking about how it was his sort of decision to sort of push for that move to Kilmarnock, because he recognised he'd had a taste of the first team under Russell Martin, but he really needed to go and get the minutes under his belt. And I just think that's a terrific attitude. I think a lot of players would think they're in the Rangers first team, they've made it. And he recognises, getting there is only the start of the journey. Now he's really got to sort of push on. So, yeah, he's back this season. Listen, I'll be honest, if Rangers were to go out and sign 3 or 4 wingers between now and September, it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up on loan again. And I'm not entirely sure that wouldn't be a bad idea for him again, just to continue that development. He's still, as we say, really young. It's still very difficult for young players to break into a Rangers team, especially when you have that pressure, and a pressure that's growing season by season to win silverware because of the lack of success that the club has had. So, but I think he's shown at Kilmarnock. He's shown with the glimpses we saw with him at Scotland. Obviously, the goal he scored against Curacao, that he's a guy with talent. He knows where the goal is. His first instinct, which is what I love about him, is get a touch away and get a shot and goal. Obviously, the goal he scores at the weekend, if he meant it, well, then maybe he's a better player than I'm giving him credit for. Not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure he was looking towards the edge of the 6-yard box and the ball flies in the top corner. So, but listen, just getting him more minutes around that first team environment will do him the world of good. And if he can carry on in that sort of same trajectory he was on last year, then yeah, he can play a part this season. I still think he'll have to bide his time. He'll have to be patient. But it's important that Rangers, if they're going to keep him, then they have to get him the minutes that allow him to develop that. As I say, I don't think he'll be in the starting lineup every week, but we know it's a squad game now. We know with these 5 subs you can make, there's plenty of scope to get young players on the pitch and give them that chance. So here's hoping that's exactly what he gets.